Good morning. This is Norma Cowie here for Norma Talks, our usual Wednesday talk. This is the first of the Wednesday of the month, and so it's the time when I do a tarot card reading for the month for basically North America, which I will put up to share with you in a moment. Excuse me. I still got a little niggle here from, the last month, but we're getting better and my voice is almost where it needs to be. When I put this reading out earlier this morning, because as you know, I've sometimes had trouble with it not coming through the mail system, but it was like that so quick. I kind of looked at this and I thought, do I want to do this again? Which is something I never do. And I went, no, we're going to go through it and do that. But so it's probably going to give me a vehicle or a starting off point of how we handle those things that we don't like or don't want, how we deal with them, how we work with them, how we cope with them. So I'm going to share the screen. It might take me a minute to get it where I want. Here it is here. So yeah, I just want to, there we go. That was there. Sorry, hang on a minute. Yeah. You'll notice there's a number of sword symbology. And if you know tarot at all, but people have different viewpoints of how the symbols work. But the swords to me are issues or problems. And so we've got a number of those in there, but there's also some cups and some pentacles and the strength card from the higher arcana, which is the learning element. And that is something, that's a nice one to see there. So I'm just going to work my way through this and explain a little bit to you. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make that. It's touchy. My little thing is very touchy. I want it up a bit. There we go. You see, when we start off with the first symbol here, I think this will go there. The Four of Swords is really about going inside and resolving issues. And it's really, and I know I pull the cards, but that's what I've been doing the last few days as I'm feeling better and getting out and doing other things. I was taking a look at how I was looking at the world around me, what was going on, because there's a lot of things I don't like, particularly personally, that's going on. And then I realized instead of being reactive, because I was frustrated, a little angry, etc., that was not the way to change anything. That's not how I teach people how to create. So I realized that I had to go and take a different viewpoint. And I think that what we need to do, because there's a lot of people, there's still many people marching all around the world, actually. I know it isn't always on mainstream media, and that might get me in trouble, but that's true. It's on the other, but there's lots out there showing thousands of people are still protesting mandates and other things. Now, the key here is not to be angry like the next symbol, which is the Page of Swords, which is an attitude. I take the court cards as attitudes, and be reactive, but rather see and know that what you don't want will disappear one way or the other. Yeah, we all have different ways of doing that, imagining that. And I don't know if I ever told you I had a vision, and I'm going to share this with you. My friends know this. I was concerned about how this machine seemed to be just moving ahead, not caring about anybody else except their agenda. And so I was given a vision of a steamroller rolling down, going down a flat, it was a flat road. But every time I thought about this, I saw this steamroller. And then not that long ago, I sort of checked in on the steamroller, and right in front of it, there was a real break in the road, and the steamroller just falls into the hole, which actually, I had to be honest, cheered me up a little bit, because it means something that we're not aware of is taking place that is stopping this agenda that was out there that there was no stopping. And then I began to realize, well, why don't I just put stuff on top of that so it can't come back out? And other people have reported, astrologers and other people that deal with futuristic things. I've talked about earthquake and stuff like that. So I really didn't matter. I was like, okay, I have to change my attitude. And I am very similar to a lot of other people, where we go into reaction rather than looking at what it is that we're wanting. So these first two symbols here, both the Four of Swords and the Page of Swords, I really like the Four of Swords because we do have to go inside and sort things out. But the Page of Swords is usually more reactive. You know, you're mad, you're angry, you're frustrated, all of those things. Doesn't always get us anywhere if we act on it. It doesn't show you acting on it, just shows you that's how you're feeling. So the symbol that follows that is the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups is where it's our imagination at work, actually, is where we've taken the cups and we've blown it up. And they all have all these fanciful things. When I'm reading it, when I'm reading for a person, I'm always looking to see where my eye goes there. Which cup am I looking at? Or is it just the plain attitude that the imagination is out of control? Because we need to have our imagination, which is our visualization, very specific, not just willy-nilly anywhere. We need to know specifically what it is we're wanting to create and what we're wanting to do. So I'm looking at all this when I'm putting this out and going, okay, well, the first part of May, and we're already in the 4th, I think. Right now we're in the 5th already. And this was the day that a lot of people are saying, like, watch out for today, because there's stuff going to go on. But it's like, don't blow up things. Don't, just take it easy, because when we get to this, which I would say is around the 7th of the month, the Ace of Swords is where we have choice. We can choose to deal with a situation, or we can deal with being more confused, more imaginative, getting upset. So it's about choice. And often many of the tarot symbols, when you're looking at it for a learning tool, is about what is your choice? Are you going to do something to resolve the issue, or are you going to get worse and worse, angrier and angrier? And actually, the water, it could be mountains, but it also can be water underneath the sword symbology. And it's rough. It's not rolling hills or anything. It's like tops of sea or tops of the mountains. So you have a choice. There's a choice here. And I feel it's around the 7th of May to about the 9th of May, actually. And what happens with this choice is this King of Swords, which is again an attitude, which means most people are not going to like it. So maybe there's another edit coming down, i.e. mandate or whatever, that a lot of people are not going to be super happy with. But we have to choose how we respond to that. And that took me to about the 12th and 13th of May. And then the vibration shifts and changes. As we're in around the 15th of May, middle of May, we come to this Eight of Pentacles. Now, what I like about the Eight of Pentacles is that this is a worker working away, showing his wares, but he's doing what he can do, and he's doing it well. And his house, his castle is there. Everything is there for him. And he's working away slowly, solidly, getting what he needs to do. So I feel that whatever's going on in this first month, part of the month, when we hit the middle of the month, things begin to change. Then we can maybe make some decisions, or we can just keep getting on with our lives, which is what else, mostly that's what we do. It's just get on with our lives, do what we have to do. That brings you into coming into around the 20th, the Strength card, where again, you're working with your world, you're working with your life. But it also, the infinity sign here shows that you have inspiration, you have awareness, you are in command. You have, as the symbol says, strength, inner strength, because you're looking at the greater power, not your little mind or your emotionality, but the bigger power. And now comes, as we heading into the 20s, and I feel around the middle of the 20s of the month, is we're into overreaction. The Knight of Swords is like, okay, enough of this, and, whatever, because before it's been plodding along, and now it's like, oh, we're going to spin out. No, please no. We want to be easy in the direction of where we're heading. And what I really like at the very end of this, as we come into the end of May, heading into June, is new beginnings. Now we have in here two aces. Aces and newness. The Ace of Pentacles, which sits right at the bottom here, brings about a new material, a new awareness, a new beginning that's touchable. It's aware. So there's something that's going to shift in here that will have an effect. But it's not going to be, I could say, won or created easily. It's not going to be something that's going to happen with ease because of the struggle that we've got in that early part of the month. And often when we have something come down at us, like this is the way it is going to be kind of thing, we have some people that just go along with it, and some people that go, no, that's not going to work. And I just really feel until we get to the middle of the month, we're not going to know what's going on. I have heard that there's a lot going on in the back scenes that we don't know about. And that, when I look at this, I went, that makes sense to me here. This month, there's a lot going on that we're not aware of. We will become aware of it once we're over the middle of the month and into the 20s. Now, a lot of people are probably not going to relate well to what specifically has been put out or told or whatever, but I'll guarantee with this symbol here, this is Ace of Pentacles, that it's new, it is different, and usually good. And that's all I want to say. I'm looking at the different patterns. The attitude cards aren't the best. 3 of the swords. We've got the Page of Swords, we've got the King of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. Pretty well all reactive. The King is usually just can be stubborn, but logic can have it change his mind. But the other 2 are usually pretty reactive. The only higher arcana is strength, and the strength comes from above. We move into our philosophy, we move into an awareness. A lot of swords in here. This is not going to be the easiest month, but once you've passed, I think the 15th, definitely the 17th. I'm just pulling my cards that I still have on the table here out and putting them back in its pile. I think once we get to the middle of the month and towards the end, we're going to be incredibly, incredibly happy with some people. I got to qualify that. Some people will and some people won't. So I'm going to stop share on this. I hope. Stop sharing, please. Oh, I'm pushing on the wrong side. There we go. I'm not feeling the greatest today, but that's okay. I always enjoy talking. And I have to say, I have been getting not only messages through YouTube, but even emails coming through to me from people. And I have to just basically say it warms my heart to read the pluses. If any of you have minuses out there, thank you for keeping it quiet to yourself. And those that are sending me things, it is wonderful. And a friend of mine actually took a picture of what was coming up on the mental mind treatments of all the thank yous that people say after I've done the treatment. And it gives me impetus to keep going, and especially after having a month when I hardly had a voice and didn't have a voice there for 2 weeks, and just keeping on going. And that's life, isn't it? To keep going, to keep knowing that what you're doing does help and does affect people. Some people do. I've got a friend that does beautiful artwork. I've got another friend that has just got a big heart. I've got another, like, my friends really support me and just give me that sense of direction of where and when. So when I see something like this down here, which looks like not the easiest month for people to assimilate information, obviously new and different information is going to be coming in and has to be assimilated. And that's going to have, often people get if it's not the way they want it to be, they'll have a reaction. And don't we all do that? We sometimes have to take longer Takes longer than we would like to assimilate it, but I love the bottom part. I love the strength. I love the Ace of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. So we've got a good month coming up for sure. So I really want to thank you for listening. And number one, but number two, I also need to just say, because I find often when I listen to something they advertise, and it bothers me. It's one thing that bothers me is listening to other people's advertisement, but I'm going to do it. I don't have anything else that's there. But this month, I do have one little workshop and one day of mini readings. And if you have not signed up for my monthly newsletter, which basically says what's going on, just go to the website, normacowie.com, sign up, and you will find out when I have these little workshops, when I do mini reading days, and also the other work that I do as well. And mostly, I just want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for listening, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. All the best. What's today? Wednesday. I will be back Sunday and then again Monday night. Oh, might have to add another day in there. Okay. It's one of those days. Thank you so much. Bye now.